Alright. Sorry I'm getting to this so late, but I had to work all day Friday and Saturday, so I was pretty wiped out on Sunday. And also, I was trying to avoid spoilers for the Defenders, which were bound to be everywhere. And then I find out that this week's episode of Game of Thrones got leaked online, and then spoilers for that were everywhere, and I was not lucky enough to avoid those, unfortunately, so I was pissed off. So that's why I'm doing this on Monday afternoon. And this is going to have to be quick, because I only have about 20 minutes or so to do this. So I'm going to have to make it very brief. So let's just get down to it. So what about Impact / GFW for, last week? Impact / GFW, a company that had a bit of a problem on its hands going into this most recent show. They signed Alberto El Patron, they built the whole damn show around him, put him over everybody, gave him multiple wins over Bobby fucking Lashley, made him the world champion, and then realized too late that putting so many eggs in the basket of a man who's proven himself to be a huge flight risk is probably not the best idea in the world. You would have thought they'd have learned their lesson from Scott Hall, but no such luck. So they had some course correcting to do here, which, considering where they were going with Patron and the whole LAX thing, it might have been a blessing in disguise. But let's not get ahead of ourselves yet. First off, something that bugged me about this show was the complete lack of ceremony devoted to the new championships. You've had your champions walking around with the Impact and GFW title belts since Slammiversary, and now they just walk out with the new unified belts that go completely unmentioned. And unifying championships ought to be a bigger deal than that, in my opinion. I don't mean you have to do like a 20-minute segment for it or anything, but, you know, maybe Sienna walks out with the two old belts, and you've got the new unified title in a glass case at ringside, and then after she wins, JB formally presents her with the new championship, and they acknowledge that the old ones are being retired. You know, just something like that to let us know that something significant has happened here. It just seemed kind of weird to me that they didn't even bother with anything like that. I don't know. Just not the way I would have done it. At any rate, our show proper begins with the Knockouts Championship match. Weird segment to start the show with. I don't know why they started with this instead of getting the Bruce Pritchard, Jim Cornette stuff out of the way first. It's a very strange decision. But whatever. We got Sienna versus Gail Kim for the Knockouts Championship. It's a good match, but it's also a very stupid match for a number of reasons. It's Gail Kim's first match back after she was out for close to a year with a back injury. So it only makes sense for them to play that up, and it practically books itself. But not only does Sienna not target the back, like any non-stupid person would, but Gail doesn't do anything differently at all. She doesn't sell any ring rust or not being 100% physically anymore, which was the whole reason why she's retiring in the first place. Instead, Gail just works the exact same way she always does, and any psychology or storytelling goes out the window. And then, predictably, Gail is closing in on a victory. It's made abundantly clear that she's got this in the bag, she's about to win, and then Sienna's title is only saved due to interference from two people. Because Gail is so untouchable that even when on the verge of retirement, she's still got everybody beat. Because how else could it have possibly gone, right? Jesus Christ. I can't believe they're still doing this with her. I'll give her all the respect that she's earned, but for fuck's sake, I mean, you gotta make sure the girls who are going to be there after Gail retires are taken care of. This didn't do Sienna any favors. Now, don't get me wrong. I was stunned to see Taryn Terrell back, and I'm happy to have her back. But is this going to be another situation where Sienna wins the title and then immediately gets shoved into the back seat so the writers can focus all their attention on whatever Gail Kim is doing? I mean, you already threw Sienna's first title reign under the bus with all that stuff last year. Now it looks like the same thing is going to happen again. We're going to see we're going to see like tons of focus on Gail Kim feuding with Taryn Terrell again, and then in the background somewhere, Sienna's just standing with the title, like in a corner, out of focus or something like that. you know, as cool as it is to have Taryn Terrell back, if we're making room for her and some new feud with Gail Kim now, I don't feel like it's going to leave much time for a lot of other people in this division. I mean, you've already got girls like MJ Jenkins and Alicia, who have just been gathering dust backstage for a while now. Rosemary and Allie, the two biggest new female stars this company has managed to create in ages, aren't getting nearly as much screen time as they rightfully should be at this point. Plus, we know that Taya Valkyrie is coming in soon, and you just signed Hanaya and Kira Hogan as well. And seeing as how the Knockout division really only gets one segment a week right now, and we have to assume that like 90% of the focus is going to be on Gail Kim until she retires, because that's what always fucking happens, what the hell are you going to do with all these women, Jeff Jarrett? I mean, the Knockout roster is the strongest it's been in a long time, but a lot of these girls are going to be lucky to even get their faces shown on TV. So it's like we got to take the bad with the good. We got Taryn Terrell back. Hey, awesome. Awesome. But you got to make room for her somehow. And then you got to make room for Taya. And, you know, that room, that space doesn't really exist. So you're just cramming more people in, and it's, you know, they've done this before, they've done this in the past, and it never works out. Alright, so to be continued on that, but after this, we then have the segment that by all rights really should have started the show. Now, why they put this on second, I have no idea, but Bruce Pritchard comes out to address the Alberto El Patron situation, also managing to throw a little shade at Tyrus in the process. I got a kick out of that. He says they have stripped El Patron of the championship. And then Bruce Pritchard, the man who has stated several times that he doesn't like people just being handed things, proceeds to call out Bobby Lashley so he can hand Bobby Lashley the World Championship. Because fuck character consistency, right? I guess so. So then Jim Cornette comes out instead, because apparently hell has indeed frozen over. Because we got so many goddamn authority figures on this show anyway, why not add another one? Let's bring Jim Cornette out. Now, thankfully, Cornette is there to fire Pritchard. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. So, sadly, this does create a little bit of an issue, because after what feels like months of this stupid heel Pritchard crap, where his behavior made no sense at all and wasn't even consistent from one week to the next, we don't even get a storyline explanation for why Pritchard has been acting like this before he gets kicked out. No, Cornette's just there to fire him, and that's it. He's just like, bye, Pritchard. Says, oh, I'll be back. And then Karen's like, no, you'll never be back! You'll never be back! Ugh. Would be nice if we got some kind of explanation for why he'd been acting this way, but, if they just wanted to keep him off the show and not bring him back at all, that's cool, too. Yeah. So, Pritchard is out for now. Good. But, yeah, but there's definitely some big holes in the story here that they just never really bothered filling. I kind of wanted to know, if we're going to invest that much time on it, I really wanted to know why he'd been behaving the way he was, but we don't get that. Cool. Great writing. Thanks for wasting everyone's time with this heel Pritchard nonsense, guys. I'm really glad we put so much focus on that. Now, the positive in this is that Bruce Pritchard is gone. He's off TV. And good fucking riddance. That guy was a complete drain on this show every single time he appeared. Now, Cornette may be a volatile guy, but as an on-screen presence, he's a big improvement. Not as big of an improvement as having no authority figures would be, and I really wish we could go back to that, but I guess those days are gone. So before Cornette can fuck off, LAX come out to confront him, and strangely enough, Cornette actually does acknowledge that Low Ki is getting screwed here, because Low Ki was the #1 contender. He had a scheduled match for the championship with Alberto El Patron, and now that's being changed because of corporate, because of evil corporate. So they're going to have like this 20-man Gauntlet Battle Royal thing, or 20-man Gauntlet, just a Gauntlet match, or is it a Gauntlet Battle Royal? It's one of those. But a 20-man Gauntlet next week to determine the new champion in Low Ki. He acknowledges that Low Ki did get screwed over, So as a make good on that, he puts Low Ki in at the number 20 spot, which seems fair enough. Of course, Conan is still pissed off. Still pissed, still thinks that the white man is holding LAX down, even though it seems like they kind of had the red carpet rolled out for them in a lot of ways. But, you know, okay, that seems fair enough. Low Ki in at number 20, alright, fine. And after this, we go on to the finals of the Super X Cup. So the finals of this big tournament to determine the winner of the new Super X Cup, and it doesn't even get the hour main event spot. It goes on at 8:45. And then it only goes 9 minutes, you know, give or take. So, kind of feels like it ended in a really anticlimactic way. You know, no fanfare or hype for this. No, they don't get the main event or the hour main event, and then they get screwed over on time as well. So, what, did the authority figure crap just run long or something, and you had to take time out of something? Just kind of seems like Desmond Xavier got a little bit of a shaft here. He got shafted a little bit. Anyway, it was a good match while it lasted. I think the right guy definitely won. So afterwards, he gets the trophy, and he says he's going for the X Division title now. And I have no problem with that. I like Desmond Xavier a lot. He's pretty cool. I think he's probably one of the new building blocks of this new X Division that they're going to be focusing on. And I think he's a good guy to do that with. Even though, yeah, they kind of dropped the ball on the presentation of the finals of this tournament. Yeah, there's no denying that. And after this, we have an X Division title ladder match for the championship. Sanjay Dutt versus the actual champion versus Trevor Lee, who just carries the title around and calls himself the champion, and was allowed to do so because these writers are lazy. You know, it's a good, solid ladder match, but nothing really extraordinary here. Nothing that'll be remembered a month from now. But not bad. Just not up to, like, the super high standards that you expect, like, real memorable ladder matches to be. But whatever, it's not bad stuff. Anyway, Sanjay's about to win, and then Caleb Conley, who apparently still exists, shows up, grabs Sanjay, and puts him through a table. Now, the announcers said that there's some kind of alliance between Trevor Lee and Caleb Conley. There's some kind of, like, a friendship there or a connection. And they said this like we were already supposed to know about it, which surprised me because I had no idea these two were aligned with each other. Did I miss something? Was there some kind of update or segment about that I missed? I don't know. I've never known these two to be connected in any way. At least not kayfabe-wise. So that was strange. But then, Petey Williams, the Canadian Destroyer, Maple Leaf Muscle, shows up and takes out Caleb Conley, helps Sanjay win. Okay, cool. Great seeing Petey back. As far as I know, he hasn't wrestled in a couple of years at this point. Hasn't been in this company in even longer. But that was a pretty nice surprise. Really cool return right there. Unfortunately, the announcers undersold the hell out of it. I mean, you'd think that JB, who's been with the company since its inception, would have been more excited to see a guy like Petey back. But instead, it's like, hey, look, it's Petey Williams. We haven't seen him in a while. What's he doing here? Really, JB? That's all the excitement you could muster up for this? Hey, come on, man. If you wanted an announcer that would just sleepwalk through the whole show, we could go get Mike Tenay for that. Come on, let's get some energy in the broadcast booth already. Jesus Christ. Just saying. Good match. Cool return from Petey, but the announcers need to kind of sell this stuff more. So, after several weeks of hype videos, it's time for Ove to debut. And I don't know what exactly happened here. You're in serious need of tag teams right now. You've been promoting the debut of this new team, these brothers who have been promising that they're going to kill it every night. And then you bring them out for a match with two jobber ham and eggers, and then something goes strangely awry. Ove are selling entirely too much. The jobbers are getting in way too much fucking offense. They even got a pin attempt at one point. And you hype up Ove as a big deal for weeks. Then in the opening moments of their debut match, the Ove guy eats a kick in the head and then suddenly they're on the defensive. So before they're even out of the gate, you cut them off at the knees. I have no idea why you would want to do this. It's almost as if they were set up to fail. I want to know what moron booked this and why on earth Jeff Jarrett signed off on it as head of creative, because this was about as counterproductive a debut as they could have asked for. Well, they wouldn't ask for it, but as counterproductive a debut as they could have had. Because they wouldn't ask for a debut like that, because they're not stupid. I mean, I think Ovae were kind of starting to rescue the match by the end, and they did seem to get over a little bit, but Jesus Christ, man, maybe have your new tag team not struggle to beat a couple jobbers next time? Because I don't know how that helps them. Backstage, we got Cornette going about his business, and then EC3 and Moose confront him. They won in the Gauntlet match for the World Championship, and he obliges, he puts them in there, and then he gets confronted by the perpetual motion of badassery, Eli Drake, because Eli Drake actually gets to fucking talk this week. About goddamn time. So he works the magic that he works so well with his talking skills, and then Cornette obliges by putting him in the #1 in the Gauntlet Battle Royal as well. But just to be a dick, he puts him in at #1. He also puts Chris Adonis in there, but no one cares about that. So Eli Drake is in at #1. So we know 2 of the spots now. Low-Key is in at number 20. Eli Drake in at #1. So you probably figure, since they made a point to mention those 2, that the match might end up coming down to them as the final 2. It seems to make sense. We'll see. I'm just fucking glad Eli Drake finally got to talk in a championship match. Okay, cool, good. Thank you. Let's go more in this direction, please. And that brings us to our main event, and I have virtually no time left. I gotta get out of here. Shit. Anyway, main event. Title shot versus title shot, Lashley versus Matt Sydal. Now, something that bugged me about this is Sydal has a much bigger mountain to climb here for a much smaller payoff. He has to beat Bobby Lashley just to get an X Division title shot, but Bobby Lashley has to beat this Cruiserweight guy in order to get a world title shot. Now, if I'm Matt Sydal and I somehow manage to beat Bobby Lashley, I think I have a very good case for myself to get a world title shot. Why would he want an X Division title shot after that? I mean, you'd think you'd have to beat an X Division guy to get an X Division title shot, but no, he's beating the super dominant former world champion just to get an X title shot? Ah, fuck that. He won a world title shot after that. I'm just saying. This thing seems very lopsided. Anyway, it's a good match. The last few minutes were pretty cool. You had Lashley going for a chair, and then Sydal kicks it into his face, and then he gets up for the shooting star, and then Lashley gets the knees up, and it's very back and forth. You're not sure which guy's going to get the upper hand. And then Sydal's in the corner. Lashley goes for the spear in the corner, but Sydal dodges and gets the surprise pin, and it felt like the win was earned. It didn't feel like bullshit. Like, like the first time that Eddie Edwards pinned Bobby Lashley, I bought it. Lashley got overconfident and Eddie took advantage, and it more or less made sense. Now, later on, when Eddie Edwards was still getting wins over Bobby Lashley, it started to feel more and more like bullshit. This one, It made sense to me. It felt like they deserved this. It wasn't like a dominant pin or anything. It's kind of like he just surprised Lashley and capitalized in a moment when Lashley was like distracted, or he wasn't thinking clearly because he took that shot in the corner, and he was dazed for a second there, and then in like that one moment of weakness, Sydal got the better of him. It felt like they earned that one. I was okay with that. I'm fine. So, Sydal wins, gets a future X Division title shot. Okay, so it's him and Desmond Xavier going after the title soon. That's fine. Those are good guys to do that with. And then it got weird. Because those guys from American Top Team are at ringside, and then one of them puts the referee in a chokehold. And it ends in a very confusing manner. Like, what is this? Is this an American Top Team invasion angle now? Because I'm not here for that. No more invasion angles, please. And not with these MMA guys. I mean, Are the MMA guys going to get in the ring and have a match? Because unless they're going to be like as good as like D'Angelo Williams was, I'm not terribly interested in that either. So I really don't know what the point of this angle is. I'm not saying it's bad, because those video packages about the American Top Team stuff, and Lashley has to choose like one sport or the other, and blah blah blah. Those were good. Those were well produced, and they were strangely compelling. I'm interested to see more of that stuff, but when you do this, it's like I'm not sure where this is going or what the payoff could possibly be. We'll see. And then ZOMG, Johnny Impact is coming. And that's what we really end the show on. So, Johnny Impact, John Hennigan, John Morrison, Johnny Mundo, whatever the hell you want to call this guy. He's on his way, and I'm not all that excited. He can wrestle, sure. He's got a look, but his promos are boring at the best of times. I always thought the guy was overrated and more of a product of the WWE marketing machine than anything else. Of course, I haven't seen him since he was in WWE. Maybe he grew some charisma since then, I don't know. But it didn't seem like it by the looks of him. Like, this is only the beginning. Oh, wow, what a scintillating original line right there. Great. Cool. Kind of seemed like he was just in John Morrison mode again. I don't know. I guess we'll see. You know, I assume he's going to be their new Alberto El Patron, so he'll probably go over everybody and get pushed right into the main events, whether we like it or not. At least he's less of a flight risk than Patron was, so maybe this will be a step up. Anyway, this was an improvement on recent shows in that it felt like there were some interesting things actually happening here instead of the writers just going through the motions like they have been for the last few weeks. But I still feel like this creative team and this company just can't seem to get out of their own way. I mean, there's still like, so many things that don't make sense. The Pritchard thing went absolutely nowhere. It was a complete waste of everybody's time. Ove's debut felt like it was booked by someone who hates these guys. It was really cool seeing Taryn Terrell and Petey Williams back, but those were some legit surprises I marked out for a little bit. But then neither of them were even mentioned for the rest of the night. It's like, do you want to put these things over as big deals? Like big returns? Or not? Because if you wanted to, I assume you'd do like a replay in like an hour or two or mention them throughout the night or something, but I don't think they were even mentioned again after they showed up. Why would you not want to mention those things again? I don't know, but the way this came off, they were just two cool things that happened, and then the show instantly forgot about them. And then there's the issue of the roster. It's as if these returns were arranged with zero consideration for how to make room for all these people. I mean, there's plenty of talent in that locker room that they don't have the time to feature, and they just keep bringing in more people. So this problem is only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. I don't know what they're going to do about it. And it's going to take a lot more than firing Tyrus. And while I am happy about that, it doesn't fix the problem. It helps. It doesn't fix it. You know, it just feels like it's going to become more and more difficult to single people out in spotlight in order to create new stars when the roster is just getting so overcrowded that you don't have enough TV time to showcase most of these people properly. I'm just saying. And on that note, I have to go. I got stuff to do, and I actually should have ended this thing about 5 minutes ago. So I'm running overtime here, running late. I gotta be somewhere. So I gotta check out. No time to talk to the chat room tonight. I'm sorry. Hopefully, when we do this next week, I'll have more time, but right now, I gotta go. So, thanks, everybody, for joining me in this impromptu, very rushed live stream. Sorry I can't talk to you guys, but just don't have the time for it. I will talk to you soon. Have a good day. Over. Out.